So we're going to hit it hard today with the topic. You know, we as girls, as women, have learned from an early age that we define our beauty through the aesthetic. If you're a woman and you're beautiful, well, is this the kind of thinking that we need to be prescribing to? Or perhaps there should be something else at play that we should be considering, especially as women in Africa, women in South Africa. How do we view beauty? And is it slightly skewed? Hollywood and all the print media drive me crazy because it's always the thin, skinny girls. And it's such a pressure on all of us.
You know, but I think, Michelle, we also have to take responsibility. Hollywood can churn out whatever it wants, but we need to choose which messages we're internalizing. We all know very big, large, beautiful women that we look up to, and we don't care that they're not a size 0. And I think that it's very important that, as much as I want to look like you, darling, that we don't all starve ourselves and live miserable lives trying to look the same. We're all unique.
But I must say, I'm trying to shed kilograms now after the pregnancy, and I've been going to the gym, and the way I view the gym is being more like a G.I. Jane, being strong as opposed to being thin, being healthy.
I have to tell you, Michelle gave birth to a 4.1 kilogram gorgeous baby boy, and in 2.5 months she looks like this. It took me a good 3 years to shed my baby weight.
My son is 9 and I'm still trying.
Don't you think?
Sorry, Dante, it's not you.
But don't you think is it because we're older, and when we have kids when we're older, then it's more difficult to lose weight?
Yeah.
Because I had my 2 under 25, and I could give Heidi Klum a run for her money.
Yeah.
But at 33, I'm still battling with that little extra bulge.
Girls, the discussion is not just amongst us. We've asked experts to come and join us to share with you. And from a psychological perspective, we have Dr. Shadi Motlana. From a nutrition perspective, we have invited Vanessa Ascencao. Ladies, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Hi,
gorgeous.
Dr. Motlana, let me kick off with you first. Over 1 billion people the world over are classified as overweight. What is this obsession with weight and the psychological impact in our society at large?
From a psychological point of view, we look at childhood phenomena such as childhood trauma, the parenting, or what kind of parenting there was, and also we can't deny the effect of media. And I note that you've mentioned that it's a very powerful force in affecting people's views on their weight and self-image. So concurrently, young teenagers, usually around the age of 12, prepubescent, start to have struggles with their self-image and this obsession with weight, because in Western culture, close to perfection would be very slim, but these are the attributes in which self-image is attached to. And in some kind of healthy narcissism, we all want to look healthy and good, but it can become pathological, where the obsession with weight becomes almost delusional. Delusional being that, you know, in spite of evidence to the contrary, that person still believes that they're underweight.
Talking about the psychological effects, you know, does society also put pressure on us to want to lose weight? You know, society is not to larger people.
Well, this is, if I may just pick up on that, Carol, what concerns me the most is that larger people oftentimes don't get employed. You know, if you have a business owner, they are not prepared to employ somebody who is overweight because they're seen as lazy, or they're seen as lacking discipline. So, you know, it's particularly difficult even in the workplace.
Which is the contrary picture to those with the restrictive eating disorders, because that implies discipline. So if you're obese, therefore you can't be efficient, people don't think you're healthy, it's very difficult to find a mate. But underlying that is a vicious cycle where the obese person then experiences depressive episodes, their self-image is poor, and they use the food for comfort. So it becomes eating because you're bored, eating because you're sad, eating because you're angry, and the association of eating because you're hungry is not there. We lose that link. So it's about teaching people to handle difficult emotional states and being able to manage food in a different way.
So Vanessa, how do we change our attitude and behavior towards food?
There's been a huge shift in how we eat in terms of the food choices that we make. We've gone from a hunter-gatherer way of life where you have to actually go out and get your food, and it's not easily available as it is now. People are also very disempowered with in terms of their education about what food choices to make. Every time you open a magazine, there is a new diet, and there is a new superfood, and there is a new supplement you should be taking, and there is a new way of life you should be embarking on. So people are very confused, and they go from one thing to the next, and you land up at square one always.
But what is wrong with our food? I mean, and how do we get it right?
I mean, in terms of body chemistry, I think sugar is very, very addictive. So
And it's in everything, isn't
it's in
it?
absolutely everything.
I mean, it's in white bread. There are apparently like 4 cups of white sugar in white bread.
And it's basically rocket fuel in terms of blood sugar levels. So every time you consume sugar, you've got a blood sugar imbalance, and you can't.
But Vanessa, are we saying that we want to cut out sugar altogether for everyone?
Sugar is definitely a drug and should not be consumed at all. I work with children that are ADD, and the minute I take sugar out of their diets, they're absolutely fine. So it is a big, in terms of brain chemistry, you have to understand when you eat sugar, you feel good. So the minute you feel good, you want to keep feeling good. So it's the stimulants like caffeine is, like cigarettes are, like alcohol is. So you get onto a sugar cycle, and it's quite difficult to get off.
Now, I quit sugar 2 years ago. This makes perfect sense to me because I was diagnosed as insulin resistant,
Yes.
and both mom and dad were also diabetics. So my doctor said, if you want to be able to make sure that you prevent getting diabetes in your 40s and 50s, quit sugar. And I literally went cold turkey, and 2 years later, I managed to shed my weight like that.
Wow.
And I've got more energy, and I'm just feeling so much more alive because I quit sugar.
Because you've got a psychiatrist here, I would just love to ask a personal question.
Free consultation.
Battling to lose weight, a lot of people do so. I do as well. And is it because you've got a rebellious teenager inside kind of going, oh, I'm so sick and tired of being told what to do all the time. I'm going to have that chocolate, or I'm going to have that cookie.
It may well be that for whatever reason you're not ready or prepared to lose weight yet, and that there are other factors that drive, your inability to keep to the diet. It may be that your food groups are incorrect. It may be that for whatever reason you believe you're actually quite comfortable and that the pressure is coming from elsewhere. It may be because you think you need to lose weight for medical reasons, and that's not sufficient motivation to get you going.
So I'm definitely going to be coming to you for a couple of sessions.
Well, there clearly is a lot to be learned from our experts. After the break, one of London's hottest fashion design properties, Eric Way, is in the hot seat. Stay tuned.